everybody. This is Trish Pellin from the Australian Hypnosis Conference, and I am here with somebody that I absolutely admire, and it is Gillian Maddigan. And Gillian does, what do you call it, body decoding?
Body decoding, face decoding, just understanding people.
Yeah, and how did you get into that? Like, because it's not something you just look up in the yellow pages and go, oh, I'm going to do that. Like, how did you get into it?
Well, my dad actually developed it into a diploma course.
Yeah.
So I'm second generation.
Beautiful.
and it's called psychosomatic therapy. But it's been actually part of my life before it was even a course. I didn't grow up with my dad after the age of 7.
Mm-hmm.
But coming to Australia, I had to actually learn some skills about even though I spoke English, I had to learn these new skills about connecting with people because it was really different and quite foreign to me. So
yeah, Australians are weird, you have to admit.
I love being Australian now, though.
Like, seriously, if we say something and we're just like, oh, you're nothing but a dickhead, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
That means we're good friends.
That's
no wonder people come here and get confused. Like, I saw a show by Carl Barron many, many years ago, and he said that Australians talk in opposites. So when you ask them how far it is, they say not far. And we all talk in opposites. Like, is it nice? Oh, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Which means it's good. So.
Or yeah, nah.
Yeah, nah. Yeah, so yeah, nah means no, because yes, you agree, and then nah is for the no, because I do the yeah, nah. Or if I'm going, nah, yeah, that means no, I don't agree, but yes, this is the better way. Like, well, I was raised with that, and then I met my partner, John, who's from the UK, like his whole family's from the UK, and I go, yeah, nah, or nah, yeah, and he's like, well, which one is it? Because they're very strict with their wording.
and just to add another thing to it, I was born in India and I have Anglo-Indian parents. Yep. So this head nod thing when I'm with other Indians makes it, another level of yeah, nah, or
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it.
So I became a watcher, and then circumstances happened, and my dad was developing this course, and he put this thing together with all these different cultural aspects of reading faces and having an understanding about the feet and the hands and the body and how we actually create a story within ourselves, from the bones to the ligaments to the tissue and the muscles and all the memory that's connected with it. But in that time also I became a hypnotherapist and a NLP practitioner, which
that's epic again.
Yeah, when I did my master prac, I was thinking, how can I put my psychosomatics in this? I could read my clients, right, and get to the point of their issues before they tell me, and then I have to wait for them to catch up and catch me up, and then I would go, well, I don't really need to do hypnosis sitting down in the chair.
No.
I could do it standing up and just anchor the shit out of them, right? While they're standing up. Yeah. And so for me, it was like this development of communication with my client, but also I learned so much from them because they'd come up with this weird stuff in their history that I'd never experienced myself. So clients and people, I have this real passion for their stories because they give me a whole lot of information about themselves without them actually speaking. So
you could write a whole series of books, I have no doubt, with the people. And the thing is, this stuff doesn't lie. Like, it's right out there in you. Like, I remember when I had my session with you, and I'm a tough nut. Like, I'm a real tough nut. Not much makes me cry. And you opened your mouth, and I was just like, it's true. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And then, I had a few mates ask me, and I'm like, you just gotta go. Like, go to Gillian. Like, she's amazing. So, yeah. So, thank you to your father for doing that.
He's now deceased, but he's traveled to all over the world and taught it, and there's practitioners all over the place, and there's some teachers are around, but we want more teachers. But the reality is, I used to read festivals, read 40 faces a day at festivals, that Mind, Body, Spirit and things like that. And that gave me this real catalogue of people, so all this experience. But one of the coolest stories I've ever experienced was this woman came up to me. She had this very strong English it was Scottish accent. Dressed in leathers. She was one of my last of the day, and she sat down in the chair, and I'm thinking, this woman has paid money to be grumpy with me, and she sat down in the chair. Okay, let's get to it. And I started reading her, and she was stoic as, like, just nothing moved at all on her face.
And they're difficult ones because you're not getting a lot of feedback.
No, not getting any feedback, but I'd had some experience along the way in relation to this, and I gave her the information and hardly any movement, and she went away, and she just looked like she was grumpy as all shit, right? And about 7 years later, I was at this networking thing, and one of the speakers said, "Oh, come and sit up the front." I was late, and she said, "I've got a seat here for you. Come and sit up the front." And I sat down next to this amazing woman in this fuchsia dress, and her hair was so beautiful, and her makeup, and I'm going, I actually know her, but I don't know where I know her from, because she was out of the environment that I recognised her. And then after when it was the meet and greet, and she turned around, she looked at me, and she goes, when I met you, I hated you. That was her opening line.
It's like, well, I hate you.
And then the next words came out of my mouth. They came out of her mouth. Where she changed my life. And I said, whoa. As soon as she said that, I went, black leathers, Saturday afternoon, and she goes, "Oh my God, how can you remember that?" And I said, "Because you were really hard." She goes, "Because you were hitting all the marks, and I didn't want to give in."
You slowly broke out one brick at a time from that wall of hers until it crumbled down. Love it.
She said, "I've been hiding for so long, and I didn't realise anyone could see it." And I go, you put it there. Just people can read people without even realising what they're reading. And if they don't have any context for it, it's either I hate you or I really like you, or, you remind me of someone. But they don't really have an understanding of what they're looking at.
I think also sometimes especially in this day and age, like once upon a time, and I know this from when I was younger, I had to feed the chooks and I had to feed the cows, and, I just had my jobs to do, but they didn't take me like more and more effort. Where nowadays I'm like, right, whilst I'm doing this, I'll do this and I'll do that. And what the fuck is that over there? We'll fix that while we're here. What was I originally doing? That's right. Yes, sweetheart, I'm coming. And we're trying to do all this multitasking stuff that we get so wrapped up in ourselves and our own world that when something happens right here in front of us, we're just like vroom, straight past it. We haven't actually slowed down to connect with our natural abilities anymore.
And I'm writing a little article at the moment on hearing and listening, and I've really come to the conclusion that lots of people hear. So they hear the words, digitize them, and put them in their memory. But they're not listening, because listening takes emotional connection and content from tone and texture of the voice, right? So if you're only listening to the words and digitizing them, there's a whole lot of information that you're missing. There's a lot of auditory body language that you're missing. There's a lot of tonality and content that's actually happening. And it was really brought to the fore with my husband, because he can actually wrote exactly what I said. And I said, okay. And I challenged him one day, and I said, okay, so how did you feel about what I said? And he goes, what do you mean? I heard what you said. I said, no, how did you feel about what I said?
Feel. Mm-hmm.
And he went, and I said, did you feel how angry I was? Or did you feel how sad I was? Or did you experience, you know, how fast I was speaking because it needed to be, there was urgency in it?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, no, I heard what you said though. And it was
Listening.
almost like this trickle effect that he had to go through to realize that there was more than just the words.
Yeah, it's more connect. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, honestly, love it, love it, love it. So we have you on the breakfast panel, and we've got Stuart as well. I know between you and Stuart, we'll just grab a couple of orange juices and hear you two just natter away. So we have you on the breakfast panel. We will be having the topic of discussion, you know, business and business stories as such, what they don't teach you in school, and I cannot wait to hear some of the stories that you guys come out with. So thank you so much for joining me today.
My pleasure.
Yeah, so if anybody wants to do training with Gillian or wants to network with her, please jump onto her webpage. I have thrown it into the description. If you don't recognize by now, I'm a little bit of a groupie fan of Gillian. Okay, so jump onto it. She's absolutely amazing. So thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will see you in the future. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.